something spectacular is about to happen. What do I mean? Just when we are about to close 2024, I met a man who within just a period of time doing wonderfully well and turn things around for us. Honestly, I've been in the industry for a while. And I've worked with a lot of people who call you, I want to do deal with you, I want to be your bond originator, I want to do this one, but give them a deal. Honestly, the client will decline for one reason or the other. But the man I met toward the end of last year, he has transformed, made the job much easier for us. Let me tell you something. If you have signed a deal, let's say you sign an offer to purchase, and you give to the bond originator and they don't know what to do, you get a decline from the bank. So Mr. Mark Williams stand out than what it was. And this morning he has prepared himself. When we begin to converse and having a conversation, he told me I've been in the industry for 20 years. So look at the wealth of experience he's coming to give us this morning. So this morning, let's have a round of appreciation for him and give him a round of applause for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Thank you for the opportunity. Guys, like Mr. Michael said, let me first greet you guys. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are excited rather for 2025.
We are.
I believe it will be a better year. We survived 2024, and surely you'll do great 2025. Some background about myself. Yes, I am a bond originator. I have been in the industry for just over 20 years now. I work for EMSA Holdings as well. I worked for them about 7 years, and I've also worked at it's a private bank. I did also work at Vodafone as well for a couple of years as well. And yes, I went on my own. The reason I went on my own is there's a lot of red tape. And the systems or bank systems or other originator systems, they don't allow you or restrict you from doing your work. That's one of the reasons I went on my own. It's one of the reasons, simply put. I am not an estate agent, not an attorney. I don't want to be an agent. I'm a bond originator. That's what I do. And I'm experienced in it. Yeah, I will not take your business and give it to another agent. No estate business. Guys, I'm going to start with 2 topics. 3 rather I want to touch on. I'm going to give you some forms. This out. Split it up. Also brought some things for you guys. Okay guys, so I'm going to start on pre-approvals, touch a bit on pre-approvals. I'm going to touch a bit on rental properties, what's not the pension uses a rental account. I'm going to touch on self-employed or business applications as well. Because we find nowadays a lot of clients are buying business things and being self-employed. So I'll just touch a bit on it as well. Do you guys know what is a pre-approval? Anyone? They've done a pre-approval before? On pre-approvals? I know Mr. Michael normally send me the stuff. Anyone from you guys?
The difference between pre-approval of a car and the bond.
Yeah, like for home loan finance. Have you ever done one?
No.
Not this year. Okay guys, let's first start with a pre-approval. What is the importance of a pre-approval? Right? A pre-approval is to make your life and the client's life much easier. Right? It's not to waste your time and money and stuff. So pre-approval gets done when you meet the client. So when you meet the client, you say, Mr. Agent, I want to buy a property. The first question should be, have you been pre-approved? This is even before you show the guy the house. Because a pre-approval will give you and the client indication of how much you would qualify for and will you be qualified. Because if you do not pre-qualify the client, you're going to take the client to the property. You can take him to any house. Whether 500,000 house, whether 5 million rand property. You can waste your time, you're going to waste your petrol. Just to find out you've shown him so much properties, but he doesn't even qualify. And of course the time frame to the seller is long. Because the seller don't want you to sign multiple offers and every deal gets declined. And you yourself are going to get frustrated as well when you're just signing OTPs and all of those deals are declined. So pre-approval is just the back page of this. This one page. You'll see this one here. So this is where we start. Each client will complete this form. Just the top part and the signature. Income and expenses you can leave blank. Just where it says his personal information and the signature, right? So important on this form is the client's address must be correct. Email address and cell phone numbers on this pre-approved form must be correct. The reason is this information that you give me, we feed it into the credit bureau system. If anything is in wrong, let's say the person just write an email address, you just write Michael at Gmail or all the files, for example. They're going to pick it up and they will block us. Because this goes onto the client's credit bureau system. So we are updating it every time someone does a credit check, we are updating the client's profile. So this information gets used. So if you feed in wrong information, you're going to have a problem. So remember, the top part of the information, the ID numbers and stuff, email address, cell phone numbers, must be correct. The client must sign the form just to give us permission. Income and expenses, you leave it blank. We will sort it out. So now, the credit bureau system tells us the behavior of the client's accounts. Is he a good payer? Is he a bad payer? Is he overcommitted? That's what we do on a credit bureau. Every person is on credit bureau. Doesn't mean you're a bad payer, but you must be listed because if you open up an account, you'll be there. If you do not have an account, your name will also be there. If you are not there, then there's a problem. You must be on credit bureau. If you have an ID number, you must be on credit. Okay, so that's the very first step we do. So we draw a credit report. That will tell us if you're a good client, you're a bad client, how much commitments do you have, those type of things. If you have other properties as well, right? And what that we normally want the client's ID and pay stub. Is full-time employed. The reason for the pay stub, we will then work out the client's affordability. The income, for example, again, like I said, the client comes to you, he say he wants to buy a property. He doesn't know, you don't know. The client is only earning 10,000 rand a month, but you're showing him a 100 rand profit. You're wasting your time. That's why we do the pre-approval. Pre-approval normally gets done within a day, normally within 4 hours. You'll have your feedback on that. All right, Michael? Within a day, you'll have feedback on that, right? So that will give you an indication, go ahead with the client or don't go ahead with the client. Right? And that's when you proceed with it. It's really important because, again, it saves you money and it saves you time. Any questions on the pre-approval that I'm asking? Any issues, guys? I know fine so far. On your ITC record, you get different types of listings. Like it will tell us if the client is clear, is handling his accounts well. It will also tell us if the client has legal issues. When I say legal issues, meaning the client is blacklisted, the client has judgments, the client is under debt review. Now, if that is applicable on a client, remember it's a legal issue, which means you have to sort it out legally. You can't just say, listen, I paid the account, please not. No, it must be resolved. For example, if it's a judgment, it means there was a court case taken care of against the person, the client must remove the court case. I was blacklisted for not paying accounts, you must pay it first. Remember, if you can't pay an 8 years account, how are you going to pay a whole loan of 500,000? That's how the banks work. Again, credit bureau, it's a behavior monitoring system. Remember, it monitors your behavior. So, for example, let's say for the last 6 months, you had bad behavior, you're not paying your accounts. Now you want to buy a property. But the bank's in the system at your accounts, you bad behavior. So now clients think you can settle it today and buy tomorrow. But you can't do it. Again, it's a behavior. So when you have to clear the judgments or clear your arrears, and then build up a good behavior again. That's why there's points applicable on the credit bureau system. When I do a ITC check for Michael, I will tell him, listen, if it's a good client, go ahead. It's a bad client, you're wasting your time. Then I'll say it's 50-50. You take the chance. I'm not the bank's credit manager. I don't work for the banks, so I believe sometimes you take the chance. You never know. Because the banks can pick up the client's internal behavior. You might have a small arrears on this side, but you find it's a good client in the banks. So yeah, but I will advise on it. Any questions?
So you said the credit bureau, right?
Yeah.
Monitors the behavior of how you pay your account.
Yes.
Okay, let's say I was a bad payer,
Yeah.
and then I managed to pay my account. How long should I wait for my credit to be?
Normally, we're looking at 3 to 6 months. So let's say it all depends on what type of account as well. So let's say you only have one account that you pay 10. Normally, it's about 3 months. Now, you must be up to date, right? But now you find a client has all his accounts in the race for the last 2 years, for example. Then it's a different ballgame. And you're looking at 6 months, even up to a year. But if it's only one account, normally about 3 months. If credit bureau is a problem in the sense of commitments being too high, remember if I say your commitments is like, it doesn't mean you have to wait. If you pay it and you bring it down, you can apply immediately. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So let's just say you owe 500,000 and you pay it immediately.
Yeah.
So you're still going to wait for that 3 months?
No, that's a difference. So that's what I'm saying is commitment. So let's say if you're in arrears with 500,000, you'll have to wait. But if the bank's saying your commitments are just like, if you're not in arrears, you just overcommitted and you settle those. Let's say you have $1 million in your savings account, right? And you have a lot of commitments, but it's not in arrears. You don't owe the banks any arrears. If you pay it up immediately with $1 million, then we can apply. But if you are in arrears with 500,000, it's a different story. Because remember, you never paid a bank for a whole lot of months. Then you'll have to pay the time. That's a big difference. That's a big arrears. So basically, you owe people money. Now you have to prove you can buy it. It's like yourself. You borrow money from this man, you don't pay it back. He's not. This man finds out. He's not going to borrow you. You understand what I'm saying? So you need to prove again. Listen, I can handle money for a couple of months. Then a bank can say, listen, let's borrow this man.
Yeah. Apart from having good credit records.
Yeah.
What are other qualifications for someone to apply for a credit?
For what? Okay, so when we do home loan finance, so the first wall that you hit is your credit record. The bank do that first. If that is clear, they will verify all the documents are in order, there's no fraud, everything is right. And then the next step is affordability. That's why I ask for the pay slips and stuff. So then it goes to the credit guys, they will then check your affordability of the application. And the type of accounts you have. For example, if you are a client that takes a lot of loans, you qualify for the loan, right? The bond is fine. But you're a person that takes a lot of personal loans. And there's a person that does a lot of investments. So which one will the bank look at better? They will look at a client that takes more investments. Which means you're a better client, which means your interest rate will be better. When you've taken a bit of loans, they can see your account's still well, but you're a bit on a risk, you'll get a higher interest rate. So all those small factors ends up to your interest rate. So, but the main focus is ITC and then affordability. Yes.
Okay, so let's say you were at the listed
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you able to apply for
For a loan, yeah. So good question. So the client was blacklisted 3 years ago and I want to apply again. The question is, why did you do a blacklisting? Did you clear it 3 years ago or did you leave it? Because if you left it, remember, behavior. 3 years ago, your behavior, till now, your behavior didn't change. You didn't clear the blacklisting, everything's still the same. Again, behavior didn't change, so they will not approve you. Did you clear the blacklisting? Yes, you did. Everything was cleared up. You build up a good behavior again, then yes, it will help. Okay.
Again, that's one.
Yeah.
I'm going back to
please,
the credit bureau.
Yeah.
So let's say she started working, né?
Yeah.
She has no accounts,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So she wanna buy a house.
Sure.
Remember, we don't know how can she pay in terms
Exactly.
of, can the bank finance her?
They will finance her, maybe, risk. So they're going to look at you as a person, they're going to look at your risk. So for example, I'm going to use 2 scenarios, right? So let's say she banks with EPSA Bank, right? All her savings account is there. She might have it, other investments account. So EPSA can see EPSA's internal record. So they can see, okay, she's a good client. ITC, there's nothing. No score is 0 or very low. EPSA will maybe look at the favorably because they can see internally she's handled her accounts well. Now you find a client banks with Capitec, for example. No, remember Capitec don't do home loan finance, right? SA home loan cards and finance for them. So now they can't pick up anything. They don't know how bank accounts are being held. They don't know if she can handle a new debt. She maybe started working 3 to 6 months only. So then they look at your income versus the bond you take. So for example, start a new job, she's getting 50,000. She's only buying a 500,000 net property. So you should be able to pay. So the risk is not big.
Okay.
But are you earning 20,000? You want to apply for 800,000 net profit. You see the risk is now a bit high because it's your first job. So they will either approve you, asking you for a deposit, 10 to 20%, or they will hit you on a high interest rate. Or they can even decline and say open up some other accounts. That's why, and then a very good account to open up, we always advise clients is a credit card. Credit card is a very good account there. Over 3 months, it helps a person to build up points much faster. Do not advise a client to take short-term loans or personal loans. Those things tells a bank you have a cash flow problem. We find that a lot of clients take every day, every month rather short-term loans. By the time they want to buy, they take it for a whole year, maybe 10 to 12% loans. The banks decline it because we say this guy is living on short-term loans. So personal loans, short-term loans are not good things to do. Credit card is a very healthy debt. So your healthy debt is credit card, vehicle finance, and all those.
So can you please clarify when you say short-term loans?
Short-term loans like your payday loan. You know, sometimes you go into your ATM and they say you want a loan immediately. Or you go to Wanga Finance, or you go to those guys on the street, or those are short-term loans. It's normally month-to-month loans. Because sometimes your salary is not short. You know, December was nice. 1st of January come, you need to pay school fees, shoes. Now you will take a short-term loan. You borrow from someone just like Barco Finance, just for the end of the month. End of the month comes again. You pay them, and you're taking another loan.
So those loans are not good for credit score.
Remember, you as a person, remember you are living on loans now currently. You don't have money to pay for school fees, so you will take a loan. Next month comes, now you must pay that loan back. So you're taking loans every time, right? So you're already living on loans. How are you going to afford a 10,000 rand installment per month if you're already living on loans? Exactly. That's exactly how the banks work.
So sometimes I hear people saying credit bureau handed their profile to the attorneys. So I want to understand what could be the reason why do credit bureau hand over the matter?
Yeah, because it becomes a legal matter. Again, you have an account with Jets, for example, you don't pay them. Jets wants their money. So what happens, they will call you a couple of times, and then from there, because they're not getting your money, they do something called bad debt written off. They hand you over to the attorneys. They say, Mr. Attorneys, this client is owing us 5,000 rand a month. Please get our money from this person. The attorneys phone you, say, Mr. You're owing Jets money, you need to pay them. They do that for about 3 months because remember now you're on blacklisted bad debt, right? So the attorneys will now phone you to say, listen, Mr. Client, you haven't paid Jets the 5,000 rand. They ask us to enter their behalf. They will follow up for a couple of months. From there, it will become a court case. They list you as a judgment. Once you have a judgment against you, then you got a physical court case against you. So then you want to buy a property, they say, no sir, you got a court case against you. You literally have to get someone to go to court for you to have the
Even if it's a gym account, you go to court.
Yeah, gym account, cell phone account. Wrong way. Remember, you signed a contract. You signed a contract. Even the people that went on the debt review and debt counseling, people don't understand. So they go on the debt counseling, they say, listen, I can't pay my accounts, help me. Remember, if you go on the debt counseling puts a hold on your credit bureau. Meaning, when you say I'm under debt review, it means you can't handle or pay your debts. They block your accounts, and you pay your money to someone to pay the accounts on your behalf. So if on a debt review, you can't say I want to buy a property. You just say I can't pay my accounts. So you must first clear your accounts, clear the debt review, build up a profile, and then buy it. If you go on a debt review. You know, debt counselor guys and stuff say we can help you. Yeah. They mess you up so. They really mess you up. Sorry, sir. Yeah.
You said between fixed bond and variable bond, which one is beneficial?
Fixed rate and variable rates. Okay. So when you do a bond application, right? Let's say the bank gives you prime, which is 11.25 currently, right? In a current market we are sitting. The banks will always give you a higher rate on fixed. Now the bond is approved, it's registered. Remember, when you are applying for a bond, you're not going to get a fixed rate immediately. The bond must first be registered, right? Then you get a fixed rate. So let's say the bank is giving you prime 11.25. When you offer you a fixed rate, the fixed rate will be higher than the variable rate that they offer you currently, which will normally be about 3% higher. Now if you look at the market currently, interest rates are going down. So now you are going to, let's say prime is 11.25, you're going to sign at 14%. The market is keep on going down, you're going to stay here. So which means you're losing all the money, right? You might not even beat that market, you'll sign a fixed rate. You'll still lose. So personally, on my personal choice, I'd rather sign on a variable rate, pay a fixed installment on a higher rate. So let's say again, giving you a rate of 11.25, you can afford installment on 15%, right? And you pay that money. So as your rates go down, it means you pay more into your bond. The more you pay into your bond, the more you eat the capital, the less interest you pay. So you're scoring more. When you sign on a high rate, you're losing all the way when the rates goes up and down. So my personal advice is, option for myself is, I'll take a variable rate, sign it at a high installment that I can afford. And you know, if the rates go up and down, it doesn't affect you. But when it goes down, you are saving all the time. That's what I would do. Yes, sir.
All right, one question. Let's say, for example, you take a bond, which is going to last for 20 years.
Yeah.
And along the line, your interest rate is 11.25.
Yeah.
Along the line, you have a lump sum of 200,000.
Right.
Then you go to your banker, like at the bank, to tell them, okay, I have this lump sum. I wanted to pay into my bond account for my money to be in the bank. What happens to a certain amount? How does it work with the bank?
Okay. This is how the white people make it. So let's say you have extra money. I have a bond of $1,000,000, like 200,000 in cash in my pocket, paying 10,000 my bond is small. You can pay that 210,000 directly into your bond immediately, right? Your bond will go down to 800,000, right? And then your installment will still stay the same, but you'll reduce your capital amount from $1,000,000 to 800,000. So the system's interest would be on an 800,000 bond, not on $1,000,000. So for example, on the 10 million in bond, you will pay 10,000 in interest per annum. Now it's because it's 800,000, you pay 8,000 in bond. Your bond installment is still 10,000 because you didn't inform them, right? So you're putting in more money than what the interest is. So which means you're eating the capital amount. So the more money you put into the bond, you're reducing the capital, which means the outstanding balance, which means you're paying the bank less interest. So you're paying it off fast. But if you decide, listen, I want to adjust my new installment, I'm feeling the pinch of it. You can go into the bank and say, Mr. Bank, I'm giving you 200,000. Please adjust my installment accordingly. They can do that. But then you're not paying as much into your bond, which means your capital amounts are coming up. You guys understand, right? So for example, you let's same scenario, good. $1,000,000 bond, you won the lotto, you put in 900,000 into your bond. You only owe the bank 100,000. If you don't inform the bank, you're still paying a bond installment of 10,000 rand on top. But remember, because you're paying such a high installment, you're eating that 100,000 very fast. Where you can tell the bank, say, Mr. Bank, you know what, I only owe you 100,000. Please adjust my installment. Then you can bring it down to 1,000 rand because it's on 100,000. And you can pay that 100,000 over 20 years. But it's a nice thing to do that because remember, with the bond, they have something called an excess bond, a flexi reserve facility. Again, $1,000,000 bond, you won the lotto, you pay the bond off. You had that $1,000,000 and your bond free, right? Now you see another house that you want to buy. Hey, good price. The guy got a government tender, he needs 500,000 urgently. Now you remember, hey, I paid, that money must into my property. That money that you paid in advance is immediately available again. You don't have to apply for a bond finance. You don't close the bond. You go to the bank, say, Mr. Bank, I gave you $1,000,000, please can I have 500,000? You take that 500,000, you buy this property cash, and that bond that you took was up again, and you pay only on a 500,000. And then this other property is cash. Okay, so I understand.
Sir,
Yeah.
is there any age restriction when you are applying for a bond?
Yeah, pension age. So by the time you age 65, your bond is supposed to be free. So that's your pension age. So meaning if you buy a property at 55, you get a bond over 10 years. Because on 65, you're going on pension.
So, so let's say you buy it on 50.
Yeah.
And then on 50, on 65, you go on pension. I can give you.
On 65 you want to purchase?
Yeah.
65 you want to buy a
You buy the property on 50 years.
50 years, right?
And then knowing that on 65 you go in the pension,
Yeah.
they can still give you a bond.
See, on 65 it depends, because remember 65 normally is your pension age. Right? If you want to buy a property on 65, you are halfway in the grave. So one foot is a light amount. So the bank wants to know, firstly, how are you going to pay the bond? Do you have a pension fund? What income are you getting at 65? And do you have life covers in place? Because remember, I'm saying 65 you're going to go on pension. So what pension do you have? What income do you have at 65?
So what if I say I have a life cover?
Yeah, you got a life. That is part of it. Life cover is one thing, because they know you are halfway in a grave. That is one condition. They have to cover the bond when you go away. But you still need to pay it monthly. How are you going to pay? So that's a problem when you come to the ages. How are you going to pay the bond? So clients, if they have rental income, maybe I own 50 properties, 20 properties, I got rental income. If I'm going to die, the money's still going to be there. That is fine. I got a business. My business is running smooth. My children will take over my business. That is fine. You understand what I'm saying? You must have an income. You can't say I'm going on pension. From getting 15,000 a month, I'm getting 3,000 in pension a month. You see very difficult. I think you must, like we had one client like that. So there's a problem. When you get to that age of 55, 50, 65 is the next step, unless we can prove you're going to get an income. Like that's why we come, when a client applies 60 for example, we have cases like that. The bank will say, give us proof of his pension. Because they want to know, when you're at 65, how are you going to pay that bond? There must be money coming in.
So is it allowed when I say, since I'm on 65,
Yeah.
But my son will continue with
No, that's not true. Then your son must buy the property, not you. Yes, sir.
Okay, so sir, based on Mr. Michael's question, so let's just say you buy a house and then they give you interest rate of 11.25.
Yeah.
And then along the way you put 200,000, meaning you are reducing that amount.
Sure.
And then you paid very, okay, maybe let's say they didn't give you 11.25, but they give you 12% or I don't know how much. So let's just say you want to buy another property.
Okay.
But then the previous property, you managed to put 200,000 along the way.
Yeah.
Are they still going to give you 12% interest, or is going to give you a positive result?
Yeah, it all depends on your risk. So firstly, from the bank's point of view, right? The banks don't want you to pay up your property fast. So meaning, let's say you buy a property today, within 6 months you pay it off, finish. Another 6 months from there, which is a year later, you want to buy again. You buy the property again, you pay it off in 6 months, finish. The banks don't want you as a client. The reason is they're not making money off you. Remember, home loans, it's about time. The longer you with the banks, the more money they make out of it.
Also, mean it's going to affect me negative.
It can affect you negative because they're not making money off you. You understand what I'm saying? It's business. Again, it's about a complete overall risk. That's why when you go to the bank, they look at the whole picture. When we motivate you interest rate, we tell the banks, you got 2 properties, you have vehicle finance, you have personal. It's about a complete picture they have over you. The bank on a home loan, the bank only starts making money after 3 years. That's when they start covering all the costs, after 3 years. So every year, if you buy and sell a property, they're making a loss out of it.
So it's advisable that when you pay your debt, you must pay it like every month, like, not just like.
Look, it depends what you want to do. Because again, it comes down to you, your complete profile as a client. If it's your first house, I mean, you're not going to plan on buying more properties, for example. Then you want to settle the first house as soon as possible. I mean, it's something I've learned in COVID. They can take everything away from you, but they mustn't take your house. So your primary property, try and pay it off as fast as possible. When it's your investment properties, when it's rental properties, there is something else. Then you're getting rental income, you let the rental income pay off your bills. Let the rental income sort it, use the bank's money, and you keep your capital. But if it's your main property, I will settle it as soon as possible. You know it's yours, they can't keep you out of the house.
So you're saying they actually make money off you after 3 years?
After 3 years, yeah.
So what happens if you pay for 3 years
No, it's fine. The bank they won't charge you penalties for it. There's no issue with it. It's just, remember, they have the history of you buying properties. So let's say every year you buy a property and you sell it within that year. They have that history on their side. And they're going to look at you as a client. They might get you with a higher interest rate. They might not give you the best rate because they say, but you're not making money off this one. But now you've got 3 or 4 properties, it's running nicely. Your commitments are well paid, your account is well conducted, they can see the value to the loan amount is okay. Now you're buying maybe your 4th property, will give you a good rate on that. Put down a deposit on a new house, let them fetch you interest rates and stuff. Okay.
Guys, please write your question down so that we can continue. Write your question down. I still have more. Then we can do after when we completed this. Alright, let's go ahead.
Any more questions, guys? Fine with that so far. Okay, guys, then I want to touch on rental income. Okay, so rental income, you'll see it's under this condition here, requirements. So this is the different types of clients, the list of required documents we need, right? So I'm not going to salary, you guys know, salary is straightforward, pay slips and bank statements, right? You know, commission is 6 months pay slips, 3 months bank statement for commission on this. Then rental income, this is the one I want to touch on. Rental income must be confirmed in 2 places. You must have a lease agreement, you must have bank statements. The contract must be for 12 months and longer. The longer your rental contracts, the better it is. 1 month-to-month contracts, 6 months contracts, the banks don't accept. Room rentals, this is where the issue comes in. The banks don't like room rentals. They don't like outer building rentals. If there's no approved plans, they will not accept it. If it's outer building, you have approved plans, they won't accept it. Room rentals, they will not accept it. It must be a fixed property or the client must rent out the whole house. Is rental income. So we find a lot of clients coming back, want to purchase a 3rd, 4th property, but they're doing room rentals on those other units. The banks will not accept it. That's crucial. Just remember, room rentals, banks are used. Okay? Question?
Is there a reason why they're not approved?
Squatting is illegal income. Because if the way it's currently carried on, for example, Sunnyside, you're going to lose control of it. And this is what's happening in Joburg, certain areas. There's so much foreigners in a particular block of flat. The owners don't have control there anymore. Even the body corporates don't have control anymore. So you've got a lot of foreigners renting a room. For example, it's supposed to be a 3-bedroom place, they turn it into a 12-bedroom place. So if every block carries on like that, every flat carries on like that, they have no control of it. So that block gets hijacked. There's no control.
But yet you can see on the statements the income and stuff.
But you as an owner got no control. You can't sell the property. You can't do nothing. You can't even kick the tenants out. Because they've hijacked the block. And they stop paying you. You watch how you're going to get the piece out. That's where the problem comes. Even houses as well. You've got outer buildings, there must be approved plans for the outer building. That's crucial. Another one I'm going to touch on is legal entities, which is further down, self-employed and legal entities. Right? The reason I want to touch on this is because this is where the market is really increasing. A lot of clients are buying properties in company names and self-employed. So let me first start with companies. We have 2 different types of scenarios clients coming into the market. You get a client which owns a company, which is self-employed, like Mr. Michael, his business is from a company, who has a bike in a company's name. Then you get individuals that are full-time employed. You work either for the government, whoever, what's your salary, and now you want to buy it in a non-trading company. So the company has nothing. You just want to buy it into the company's name. Just 2 different scenarios. The first one is, again, self-employed. Mr. Michael owns a company, he wants to buy it in the company's name. Remember, him being the director of the company, he has control of the company. So, yes, the company is its own identity, but Mr. Michael still has control. Right? So what I'm trying to say is Mr. Michael is blacklisted to affect the company. The company is blacklisted, affects Mr. Michael. If Mr. Michael runs a loss, affects the company. If the company runs a loss, affects Mr. Michael as well. Certain clients think when he's self-employed, buying it in a company's name, Mr. Michael is running at a loss, the company is looking good, so let's use the business. It doesn't work like that. Remember, he's still the director of the company. He's still running the company. He's still controlling the company. So if the company runs at a loss, the banks will come to you. So when he buys a property into the company's name, Mr. Michael will still sign surety for the company. So remember, he's self-employed. So because it's running self-employed, buying it in a business name, self-employed talks are required. Financial statements from the accountants are required. It's a lot of documents you see that are written under self-employed. And this is where a problem comes in because clients want to buy the property under a business name or being self-employed, but they don't get the buying documents. So if a client is self-employed, first question you ask him, sir, do we have financial? Do we have an accountant in place? Look, I can go through the docs with the client requirements, but it's important the client is self-employed, you must have financial statements. For example, you get a taxi owner, he has money, he has cash, but he has no financial statements. Unfortunately, we need to confirm that. So for example, like yourselves, person's working, you have a pay stub, you have bank statements. Self-employed, same thing, you have financial statements and you have bank statements. They go together. You need to be able to prove it self-employed. Right? So it is a company, self-employed. When you get company, full-time employed, you work or whoever, full-time employed. So it's very straightforward. So for that company, you are going to need certain documents, and we're going to need a person that's buying under the company's documents. Your pay stubs and bank statements and stuff. The issue comes in nowadays is because you're buying a company's name, there is cost involved, there's documents involved, and clients don't always understand. And there's no way around it. There's certain docs or banks want because you want to buy it in a company's name, you need to spend that money. It's not going to be very expensive, but you will need to spend that money to get that documents for the company. So just always advise the client. If the client asks, can I buy it in a company's name full time? Yes, sir, you can, but no, you are going to spend some money to get certain documents from an accountant. Like, for example, non-trading letter. It's a simple letter. The accountants charge you 750 rand for that letter. The simple documents, even the attorneys want some documents. You can do it, but it's going to cost you money to do those documents. Right? And buying a property, the first property you buy in your company. Remember, you're full-time employed. You get an income letter, non-trading letter, right? So you're full-time employed. So now that company, after a year, is getting rental income from. Remember that business now getting rental income. So it's a business now, right? I'm thinking two scenarios. So remember, company, one property running for a year, rental income. I buy the bought a property, my personal a year later, rental income. After a year, that company must produce financial statements. Which means now you have to pay an accountant. Which means 7.5, 10,000 and more. When I buy it in my personal name, I don't need an accountant. I just give bank statements and I just give rental companies. You see the difference? It becomes expensive running to the companies. And the personal is cheaper. Yep.
In some of these applications,
yeah,
there's always that part where it says extra income.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, let's say you've got your odd jobs here and there that you're doing. Do they want statements of that?
Yeah, statements are not enough. Again, any income must be confirmed in two places. Like a pay stub, bank statement, rental, contract, bank statement. So if you're doing a odd job, people just pay money into your account.
Yes.
You can't prove that money. Because the gentleman can be putting money into your account every month, 5,000 a month. You can be saying, listen, I've got an odd job. What proof did you have? That's where your financial statements comes. That's where a contract comes. That's where invoices comes in place. That's where they can ask you proof from SARS. Let's say you're doing all jobs, bring in 15,000. Anything above 8,000 rand, you're supposed to be paying tax. Right? So you bring 10,000 rand per month from your other business. So after you're a bank, they say, but give us proof that you're paying tax, you must getting 10,000 rand a month. So we need to prove that money. If it's like a contract you have, you need to use it.
So when I'm in the owner of the flat, after a year I also have to pay tax.
No. Okay. Yeah, so let's say you own a flat and you're making a rental income. The legal way, if I can say, to do it is when you do your tax return, you're supposed to inform SARS person, this is my salary, my tax things, minus your expenses, that's how you do it with SARS. You're supposed to inform. It's the right legal way. But
if I don't?
Yeah, the banks are not going to. If it's in your personal name, they're not going to ask you. The banks, if it's in your personal name, so when you say you're getting rental income, right? So what the banks does is rental income on credit bureau, it will show that you own the property, right? So you own a property in Sunnyside, you say you're getting 7,000 rand rental income. They got a rental contract, you can see it in your bank statement. On ITC, we can see you own a property, that is fine, no issues. But I'd say you say Sunnyside again, you're getting 50,000 rent worth of everything in Sunnyside. Here you're gonna ask questions. Or in Mamelodi, getting 50,000 in mums. They're gonna ask questions. Why are you getting 50,000 rent in mums? It's my grandkids benefit or your bloodline benefit. And you see, you instructing the trust. So the people benefit from it. So you let's say you got 5 kids, and you say my 5 kids, each one must get, they must split the interest. But the properties don't sell. You guys founded it, you are the trustees, it means no one can sell their trust. Their trust will run forever. It stands. No one can control it. Because it's an independent body.
Let's say we are still alive, but we can sell it.
You can sell it, yes, then you can do it, then you can sell it. But the problem with the trust, let's say you want to change something. Let's say you're 2 and you want to, maybe one trust, you want to add someone. Trust is controlled by the court. So every time you do something in a trust, it goes to court. We have PTY, you will do it among yourself. Anything on a trust goes to court. That's why later states take so long, goes to court, because it's part of a trust. So it's a nice thing to have, it's to protect the assets, but you want to do changes, goes to court.
So if I have a house under trust and then I die, my kids won't be able to sell it?
No, it's, like I say, it's how you instruct the trust.
Oh, okay.
It's what you instruct. So let's say you have a house, you say my kids, meaning your own bloodline, belongs to your kids can't you instructing the trust, can't sell that house. Meaning your kid can stay in that house. If he feels, no, I want to get rid of it, he can't get rid of it. Because the trust says he must keep that house. But now your wife that's there, now she brings in another guy, you know how it happens. The guy feels, no, your spirit is still in the house, let's get rid of the house, can't get rid of the house. The trust says the son benefits. No one can take it away from him. That's a nice thing of a trust. It doesn't need you to run, it can just run. But when it changes, we have to go to court. It takes time. Any more questions, guys?
So let's just say you want to apply for a bond, but you are not working in South Africa. However, you are a South African citizen. Is it possible to apply for a bond?
Yeah, you can. I'm actually busy with a client now. When it comes to your foreigners, guys working abroad, temp residents, EPSA is your best bank for those type of clients. So always advise clients to get an EPSA account for them. So yeah, you can still buy a property if you're abroad. So you got 2 scenarios once again. You can be working abroad for a South African company in let's say Saudi Arabia, but you're working there for South African company. Let's say Cecil, South Africa, placed you in Saudi Arabia, for example, but you're still working for South African company. Then you're still seen as a normal client, because remember you're working for South African company. But now you're working abroad for a broad company. Different story, we need to prove it. So there's a lot of documents. For example, it's on that list there. You see SA citizen, not SA working abroad. So if you're working abroad, you need to prove it. Passport, your work permit, because remember you're abroad. So you're going to need your South African ID. You're going to need your passport, because to be abroad you have to have a passport, right? You're going to need your work permit to show that you're working there. You're going to need your employment contract. You're going to need your abroad bank statements and South African bank statements. EPSA will look up to 100%, other banks 50 to 70%.
I'm confused. Yeah. When you say EPSA will look at 100%?
100% loan, meaning you can get a full bond from EPSA. So your purchase price is 500,000, you can get 500,000 from EPSA.
Or then other banks, if they can give you
50 to
70%.
70% loan, meaning you have to
pay another
deposit. Yeah.
Oh.
You can pay up to 50% deposit. Let's say you're a foreigner, you're not staying in South Africa, you're from Congo, working in Congo, you want to buy in South Africa. Only bank that will finance you is South Africa. They will give you a 50% loan, so which means you have to put on 50% deposit. No other bank will help you.
Is it possible to have 2 bank loans for one property? Two loans for one property?
No, you can't split your bonds. You can get the approvals, but you have to choose which one. So we submit to all the banks, and you have to choose which bank you want to go with. So you can't have 50 and 50.
So can you have 2 properties with 2 different banks?
Yeah, so you can have a bond with EPSA for, let's say, Flag the site, and you can have another bond with Standard Bank. Yeah. It's a very simple question. Yeah.
Let's say I have rich friends,
Rich friends, yeah.
and then again when you buy a property cash,
Right.
they wanna see the source of income, right? I mean the source of finance.
You buy in cash.
Wait, yes. They wanna
Cash.
see.
Cash is not financing.
No, like they wanna see where you get the money. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
when you
SaaS
buy cash.
purposes. Yes.
So let's say I have rich friends. They
Okay.
just give me like 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. They will also ask my friends, or
Where did they get the money?
So remember, so you wanna buy a property for
Yeah.
500,000. You need to transfer it to the attorneys, né? It comes from your account. So somehow sometimes you might get away with certain threshold. It's a very big amount. You can raise questions. They will want to know where the money comes from. So they're gonna link it to your bank account. Okay, you got 500,000 came in. Then they want to know where that 500,000 came from you. Goes back out.
they also go to them.
Yeah, because we got the money from them.
They will also investigate where they get the money from.
They need to know where the money is coming from.
No.
That's a lot.
Oh, I mean, let's say you buy a house for 5 million.
Yeah.
Where did you get a 5 million from? Look, the attorneys, remember, if you're giving your money from the bank to the attorneys, right, you buy let's say you buy cash. The attorneys are not going to question. Star is going to question. That's why you can't buy it with a suitcase and say buy the house. The attorneys can't take the money. They question. There's a certain threshold you can get away with. A small amount. But once that amount becomes big, yeah, that's when a problem comes. Stars come after you. They want to know where you're getting this money.
Why?
And so, you got 500,000 in your bank account. They want to know most. How if you've been working for 500,000 or you're buying out for 5 million, where did you get 5 million from that SARS doesn't know? In the sense of you're running a business, things like that, they want to know. SARS come after you. Not no one else. Any more questions, guys? What interesting questions are there? Yeah.
What's the
No,
what's the duration of the bond?
What is that?
Yes.
Duration.
Yeah.
The normal time frame is 20 years. For a ticket, that's a normal time frame. It goes up to 30 years. That's a maximum term. On vacant land, the banks will give you normally on 10 years. EPSA is the only bank that gives you over 20 years.
Let's say after 20 years,
Yeah.
somebody have not concluded the bond. You are not able to service the bond.
Right?
Yeah, and you couldn't. There's no any source of income for
No.
you to. What will you do?
So the bank will look at you if you want to raise. So they'll make arrangements. For example, you've been paying the bond to a certain point. So let's say you can't pay the bond. Then you have to go to the bank first before the bank comes to you. You make arrangement. Mr. Bank, I need help. I can't get an income. I can pay 500 Rand a month or something like that. You do the arrangement before the banks come to you. Because if the banks come to you, they will give you their arrangement. They'll tell you, listen, this is the time frame. You must keep to it. Don't do it. Eventually, they will repossess their property. Their property gets sold on auction. So you either have to sell it to someone or sold on auction.
So let's say you.
Okay, let me.
Yeah.
In such a situation, if I knew that I won't be able to meet up, or there's no any source of income to
Yeah.
pay the bond,
Yeah.
did I have the right to dispose
Yeah, you can sell your house.
the house? Then I give them the
Yeah,
balance.
you can sell a house anytime. It's your house. You can sell it. You get a house, you buy it for your house.
So let's say you don't sell the house, like
Yeah.
Mr. Amy said.
Yeah.
You made an arrangement with the bond to pay 500. Let me say 500. Along the way you die, and then remember you're no longer working.
Yeah.
Along the way you die. So what happens with the house?
So if there's a will in place, that person will take the possession of the property,
Yeah.
right? If there's a will,
Okay.
you have the house to someone, right? There's a will in place, so if there's a life cover in place, so the life cover will cover the outstanding payments of the bond. If there's nothing like that, the property gets sold.
No, so if it's after 20 years and then you
That's when you're not finished paying the bond. Normally 20 years your bond is fully
and then
paid.
they come to repossess it.
No, that's if your bond is not fully paid. If you're paying your payments like normally, your bond will be finished.
So when they take it to auction, they're gonna sell it with the amount that you owe them.
Look, auctioneers works differently. I can't really answer that because people are making money in auctioneers. The rightful way in auctioneers is to sell it to the value of the property. But people go to auction to make money, yeah? And people have friends. So I can't tell you you're going to get your fair price at auction. But at the end of the day, the banks is not a charity. They're here to make money. They're here to cover their costs, the expenses.
Yeah, I'm saying when they cover their costs, let's say now you're owing them like the
last 300,000. They're gonna sell it for 300,000.
There's no one making money coming in. No, they're not going to sell it for 300,000. They're going to sell it for how much you can sell it for. So let's say what happens with an auction, right? There's normally what do you call it? The reserve price. So when you go to an auction, the price must go for the reserve price. I think it's normally 2 auctions. The third auction, they take the reserve price away. So meaning they can sell it to anything. So if it's, so let's say they take the reserve price away. Let's say you are light. They can't sell out. After the third auction, they take the reserve price away. They sell your house for 100,000. Remember you only pay 300,000. 200,000 you liable.
So sir, if you owe small money, let's say your bond is left with like 80,000,
right?
You're no longer working, no life cover.
That's your problem,
So they still gonna take if you that's 80,000.
If you're not paying the bond, you must make payments. That's how I say you must make arrangements, you must keep it. If it's not, remember you owing the bond, let's say yourself, I owe you 80,000. I have a house I bought from you, you gave me 500,000. I owe you 80,000. I tell you, I'm not going to pay you that money. What are you going to do? Are you going to say no, it's fine? It's a charity case, don't worry. Exactly, the banks are here to make money, sir. You sign a commitment, that's why you're signing a legal agreement. So it's either you sell the property, you come to Mr. Michael, you come to Rainbow, get the guys to say, listen, Mr. Agent, sell my property, let me get as much money out of possible so I can buy myself a property cash. It's rather better to sell it before it gets repossessed in auction and get full price with it. Make it nice and then you sell it on. Because in auction, it's like this. You can get a good price, you can get a bad deal. And they sell it just for outstanding balance. So meaning your property is 300,000, you sell it at 350, but you could have gotten your house sold for R1 million. And this literally happened in West Park. There's a place across the Spa. I'm not sure if you know West Park. Across the Spa in West Park, there's a flats right across there. So the agent told me, because I met him at the auction, he offered his client, if I'm not mistaken, 750. They had a buyer 750. And then it was done. There was the seller then cancelled it. The bank repossessed the house. I think that the client just got over 450 for that place. Actually to pay to the bank. It's rather better to sell before it comes to the bank. Yeah.
Another question. How long does it take when someone applies for
the bond process period?
Yes.
Okay, so from our side, so let's say I get all the documents in, right? So you get a full-time, you get self-employed. Full-time employed, the first approval normally 3 to 4 working days. You'll have an answer, right? It's a first approval. Second approval is then valuations. This is when the bank goes out to valuate the property. They don't always go, but in valuation, that takes another 3 to 4 working days. So within a 2 week space, we've done what you do. Then it goes to the attorneys. The attorneys take anything between 8 to 12 weeks. We start a later step. The deal is done. If it's self-employed, approval takes a bit longer because it's a bit complicated stuff. You go to a specialized credit manager, so approval is about 5 to 7 working days. The first approval.
What are the major challenges you encounter with your clients? Like 3 major challenges and how you're able to resolve them?
Okay, nowadays the biggest problem we have is companies. The documents that the client needs to bring into the business. And that's what the client don't understand. As I say, the cost is quite expensive. That's what we're having problems now. Self-employed clients bring in the necessary documents. The clients buying a company bring all those company documents. That is the issues we're having. Normal full-time employed clients, the only issue we're having there is the client is blacklisted. That's a problem, and the agent doesn't do pre-approvals. So I have agents that just submit deals. I mean, this one guy submitted close to 10 deals in January. All his deals were declined. The reason is because of the area he's in, the client is blacklisted, and he doesn't do pre-approvals. So if you do pre-approvals, you're after the year, and it's easier. Company client, buying company, get all those documents. And then other thing is valuation. Agents giving the tenant's number for valuations. That's a big issue. Because sometimes the tenants don't want to move out of the property. They will show their valuator all the mistakes, all the issues in the property. And it delays the valuation as well. We find that a lot of times when agents are becoming lazy to go out physically, it's always good to build a relationship with your valuator. Remember, if you work in a certain area, you will get the same valuators every time. And if you know, eventually they know the type of properties you sell. And then even you can send them pictures, they'll work on pictures. But now you don't know them, giving the tenant's number. 3 days later, I follow up. The guy didn't get hold of the tenant. The whole deal is delayed because of it. Always do it yourself. Build that relationship up. Because sometimes you can get away with pictures. They can, because they know you, they know the type of property you sell. They will tell you, listen, it's a relationship, you don't give and take, and you get away with certain stuff. Don't be lazy, don't. Any other questions, guys?
So who determines the interest rate? Who's the person who says, Matthias, you're going to give Matthias 11 point something % or...
Yeah, look, it goes to, so when a deal goes into the system picks up all your risk again. So it's not a simple thing of just income alone. It's about your complete risk profile. When I say complete, it's even the area that you're buying. Remember the bank look at the whole risk. They look at you like yourselves, you're two different people. You might be taking personal loans, you might be saving money. You might be having a degree, you might only be able to 3 or it's going to 8. You might be a doctor, you might just be an 8 person. And you see there's a lot of things that goes into the system. That's why if a client, that's why we ask a client sometimes for a copy of a degree to help with the interest rate. Because remember, if you're a qualified doctor versus an 8 person. So a qualified doctor is easy to get a job again. Where an 8 person that has nothing, if you lose your job, they look at us also. They look at you giving a deposit. Are you applying for 100, let's say buying a million in property. Are you applying for 100% plus cost, or are you giving a 20 to 30% deposit? So which means your risk, if you're giving a deposit, your risk rate is better for the bank. If you're a doctor or you're qualified, it's better for the bank. So they look at all of those factors. Are you taking a lot of personal loans? Are you living on short-term loans? Or are you a person saving money? The type of debts that you have. Do you have Woolworths credit cards, NMA credit card, Epic credit card? You get those type of things. And is your commitments to your income? They look at it, the threshold as well. Is it on borderline? So meaning your net income is 10,000, your commitment is 8,000 with your bond installment. So you only have 2,000 to play with. So you're becoming a risk to the bank. Where you have maybe like a 30,000 in surplus. So they'll say, okay, we'll give you a good rate because we want to do business with you. Let's just give you a good rate and you can bring your next profit to us. So that's what it's about. It's about coming back to us. Yeah, Mr. Michael.
Okay, I wanted to ask just for everybody to have understanding. When they are approving a bond, let's say they are approving a bond of 500,000,
Yeah.
and then it's going to be 1 million, am I correct? Isn't it? It's always a double. Let's say, for example, you are applying for a bond for 500,000.
Purchase price, you're buying house
500,000.
Right?
And then the bank also had 500,000, making
No, 20%. Oh, to register the attorneys.
yeah, not to the attorney. The way, how does this? Because sometimes is it a loan that I've seen that when you take a loan, it's like you are paying double.
Oh, are you talking about the interest?
Interest, yes.
Yes. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, now, so which means 500,000 on the bond and also 500,000 for the interest of that money.
Yeah, it's over 20 years.
It's always double, right?
It's more or less double. It can be less, but if you do less, because on a million rand property, you're paying 10,000 rand, right? So if you're paying 10,000 rand on a million rand property, and for 20 years, you're paying 240 months. So that's about 2.4 million that you're paying back, right? If you had to pay it over 10 years, you'll be paying back 1.2 million. Because you're paying it off fast. If you're paying it over 30 years, you'll be paying over 4 million back.
On 1 million.
And probably the longer you term, the more interest you pay.
So let's say you agreed on in a 10 years period.
Okay, so when you're doing the finance, it's better to do it over 20 years because if you say over 10 years, remember then you are halving the installment, which means you have to double your income.
Oh, so if you made it for 20 years,
Yeah.
then you can pay it off
Over 10 years, yeah. So what we can do is, like if the client says, Mark, you know what, I want to pay my bond off in 10 years. From our side, so you take your bond over 20 years, but we can calculate your payment over 10 years. So let's say over 20 years you would be paying 10,000, or over 20 years maybe 15,000, right? And then, so at a bank you're going to sign a normal debit, not at a attorney's rather, normal debit order, but at a bank you make a fixed debit order of 15,000. So they don't take the 10,000 that you sign, you pay 15,000. So we can calculate it. You say, Mark, I want it over 5 years. Just to calculate it, we can do it. You understand what I'm saying? So your paperwork return is normal 20 years. I calculate how much you should be paid for to be paid off in 10 years, right? You phone the bank, say, Mr. Bank, I want to pay extra. They'll ask you how much. You say, I want to pay 20,000 a month. That's my debit wallet. Sure. So you are saving now more money. The rest with a fixed rate where you are losing. When a variable rate you are winning. Because, let's say because the rate was at 11.1. So now you're 12 points. Now we're 13%. Right? Now it's 11.5. So remember you signed at a higher at 30. So because it's now dropping, you're putting in more money. You're saving all of it. It's going to drop again this year, maybe another 1%. So the more it drops, the more you're saving because you're putting more into the capital amount, which means you're paying it off. Not in 10 years anymore, you do a house in 7 years.
So that means when the interest drops, the installment doesn't drop.
No, it does drop, but you sign a fixed debit order. If you sign a fixed debit order, but if you sign a normal one, it will change as per the interest rate.
As if it is the variable one.
It's a variable one, and if you, like by the time you say you pay a GO amount, remember you can say I want to pay in more.
So
that's when it stays the same.
which one is more advisable? The
Myself, I advise clients always pay more. That's what I do. I work on 15% interest rate myself, and I keep it there. Remember, once you get used to a debt, after 6 months, you forget about it. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you now because it's a new debt. But once you're used to it, you're used to it. And when it goes down, you are scoring. And when it comes up, it's not hurting you because you are already paying more than it. And you are used to it. But if you're paying the due amount, you're going to pay it over 20 years, but you're paying it over 15 years. Yes, sir.
What's the difference between repo rate and interest rate?
Okay, the repo rate is what the banks are getting the money from the Reserve Bank. Remember when the Minister of Finance comes in, he says the repo rate is 7.25. It is a repo rate. The prime lending rate is what the banks are lending it, and it's 11.25. So repo rate is a Reserve Bank's rate. Prime rate is what the bank's giving you money. So they're getting the money from the Reserve Bank. It's 7 point something, and repo prime rate is what you're getting the money from the bank from.
But there's a business deal.
It's a business.
Also meaning if I buy a house through the bank,
Yeah.
I take a bond of 500,000 from ABSA.
Right.
But ABSA is going to ask that 500,000 from Reserve
ABSA is
Bank.
still giving you that money. ABSA is still giving you that money, but they're paying a percentage back to the Reserve Bank. They can say it, and you pay them, and they're getting the others.
So basically, the prime lending rate is determined by the
Repo rate, yes. Every time the Minister of Finance says it comes down by 0.25 basis, 0.5 basis, but repo comes down, which means prime comes down. Yes. But now you understand how SA home loans work. SA home loans don't work on it. SA home loans or the banks, funding, if I can say they come from, the Reserve Bank. They link with the repo rate. SA home loans, private investors, not the banks. So they can decide quarterly or when they want to, remember it's private investors money. They can decide when they want to put up the rate. That's the difference. And that's why certain clients are complaining because they normally meet quarterly and they changes the rate. Where the banks goes up and down with the Minister of Finance.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
when you buy a car, I just wanna. I'm not going there straight.
Yeah.
When you buy a car, they give you two options.
Yeah.
They say a fixed and the other one. What is the other one?
Variable rate.
Variable. It
Right.
also applies in the home loans, right?
Yeah, but remember, with a car you get it immediately. Home loans you get it after your bond is registered. Because remember, car when you do a finance, you're getting a car right. Home loans you only get it when the property registers. For example, let's say it's a late estate. That late estate can take 2 years. So they can't give you a fixed rate now because in 2 years' time the house only registers. So the rate's going to gone up or down. So only when it registers, that's when you can apply for a fixed rate. But currently, Netbank is not offering fixed rates. Because when the rates are too high, when they come down, certain times the banks don't give fixed rates.
The situation when someone doesn't qualify for the bond, maybe the interest doesn't qualify actually. Can the person go and get an account? They put an account.
Yeah, it depends. Okay, so let's say, for example, we use a scenario. It's a new person, he has no account. The bank declined about affordability because the interest rate they gave him was very high. because of his risk, right? So now he's into his risk. So then you have to get like a clothing account and a credit card. Credit card is a very good account. Clothing account takes time to go. It take up to 2 years to go. Your credit card you can borrow up to 3 to 6 months. So that's why we always advise on credit cards. You're getting a clothing account, get a credit card. Then you can come, you can do a credit check maybe after 3 months. You don't have to apply, you just do the credit check. If it's good, it's improved, and we always advise maybe just open up a savings account as well. Show the bank that I'm a good client. And then they will influence you to the same.
So the credit card, when they give you a credit card, they give you a certain amount.
You get to get different limits. So they might offer you a limit of 10 to 5,000. You can also decrease it. And you use it to buy groceries, you pay that. Remember, it's 10 to give you. So the bank will see how you can pay debts. So if they can't determine you can't pay debts, you become a high risk. Where they can now see, okay, you're not getting another credit card, don't overdraw your limit, you only use 50% of what they're giving you. So you personally can handle that, then they're likely to give you that.
So there are times where you will hear that someone went and bought a vehicle with a letter of point.
Right.
Is it the same?
No. Home loan finance and vehicle finance are two different things. So vehicle finance is much easier than home loan finance. Completely different credit managers, completely different setup. Vehicle finance is easier thing to finance, short-term finance, where home loan finance is a long-term finance. So yeah, it's completely different. Very different. All your lesser requirements is on the page. Yeah, so a letter of appointment is on the page.
So in vehicle finance,
Yeah.
now that in housing finance they are all originators, are there something like
That is consultants. Like you find a vehicle finance, you can go to a garage, you find guys sitting on the floor. MFC type of guys. Yeah, those type of guys. But the difference is when those guys sit on the floor, the higher your interest rate, the more commission they get. With us, it's not that way.
Okay, so is insurance required for property bond?
Yeah, the banks will normally state on a quotation. Normally, if a client is buying over $1 million and above, normally it's not compulsory. Under $1 million, you tend to find it's compulsory. Especially in your affordable housing, if you're buying a property for the first time, it's normally compulsory. At $1 million and above.
$1 million above is not compulsory.
It's not compulsory.
They don't put it.
It's not a must. Lower than $1 million, especially if it's your first property, they want. And if you're old, if you're old, you're about to, you're halfway in a grade. Yeah, remember when you get
retirement age.
It's a retirement age. It's all about the risk to the bank. That's what it's about. If you're halfway in a grade, they need to confirm. Remember, they don't. The aim is not for them to repossess. The aim for them is to make money out of it. That's why. So if you're halfway in a grade, they need to be able to see, okay, you can afford a property, firstly, and if something happens to you, how are we going to get our money back? They don't want to sell a property on auction. That's not it.
So the house must be involved.
Yeah, buying. So finally, they
they
want to
can
see, okay.
recover the money back.
Exactly. They want to recover. They want to see these policies. Because remember, at the age of 65, if you don't have a life cover there, the likelihood of getting a life cover might be more than your bond installment. You know it, right? The older you get, the more expensive life cover becomes. So that's why I want to know if you have a life cover in place. Because it can be very expensive. Any more questions, guys?
Here on signed on or on behalf of who signed?
The client signs over there.
But,
The client must always sign. I'm the bond originator. Remember, I submitted it.
but who signs out? The applicant signs?
The client signs the top line.
Yeah.
Signed by the applicant.
Yeah, and then
Sign
you
on
sign.
behalf of the originator. That is good.
Oh.
So remember, the client fills in this form, and then we go to credit bureau and stuff like that, and we complete the form. So that's why it's always nice the client do not complete the expense. Let us do it.
Okay, question. Let's say, for example, two people are buying one properties. Are they filling two different
Yes,
forms?
yes. Very important. So if it's 2 people buying, 2 forms. 5 people buying, 5 forms. It's only does 1 form. ITC does 1 form. Once we have this form, it doesn't have to complete another form. It's a nice bonus. The bank's forms, Uber's forms, 14 pages long. I'm not sure if you know the other guy's forms. They can be long. Mine is only this 1 page. Self-employed is 2 pages. But for a normal client, it's only this 1 page. Believe you me, the other guy's forms are very much.
And then the dates you don't have.
You don't have to write the date, you can just sign it.
As long as you sign the date.
The date you can write, but it's not important. It's nice if it doesn't have the date, because especially if it's an investor buyer, that we work for like many properties. If he doesn't sign up for them, we can use the same form over and over and over again. But once we have your information, then we just, because you get clients that buys 5 or 6 properties a year, we do the same thing. Remember, each client must complete this business. Even if it's a housewife, she's not working, remember the bank store needs to draw the lady's credit bureau, right? These 2 people, both credit bureau must all be drawn. It's important.
Even if they are not married in community property.
If he's buying a loan, if it's not community property, then a 1%. If it's COP, yeah, that's when a 1%. Any more questions, sir?
Yes. How can a bond?
Yeah.
How can a How can a bond protect my tax obligation?
Tax application. Depending if you're buying the company's name or your personal. Normally, if you're buying your personal name, it doesn't really have tax implications. Or on your company's name, then with a rental income comes in. So let's say you're buying a property. Let's say you own now 4 or 5 properties. Remember, you're making a rental income. Yeah? So when you do tax returns and SARS file out you own 5 properties, they want to now know where is it rental income going versus your commitments. So if you're making good income, rental income, very little expenses, you must make money. If you're not paying tax, SARS is going to come up. Our tax system is one of the best in the world. They're going to come up. And it starts actually becoming very strict on property rentals. I'm not sure if you're already. It's becoming more and more. They are looking. So the more properties you earn in rental income, you need to show expense. That's what it comes out. Remember what SARS is like this. Getting income, this income, what is your expense on a property? If your expense is more than the income, you don't owe SARS nothing. Your income is here, and your expense is here, that gap is profit loss. Where's our share? SARS. Where their cost. Like for example, you inherit a property. That's your mother's house. You're going to put a house in your name, right? That house is now worth more than 7 million. SARS want their money. You want to sell it, or someone buy it. They want their money on 7 million. Not on 250. SARS comes after you. Not the agents. It's not a bank. And they put in pressure on the banks when it comes to financing companies. You're confused. You ask something.
I want to know, are you going to get, is it when you sell the property, SARS get their part?
Yeah, let's say you sell a house, you inherit the house, right? House is worth 7 million. So you want to sell it out to your father for $1 million, right? So remember, you got your market rate on the municipality. If it's less than anything on the municipality, you're going to start asking for it. You're selling housing waterproof, for example, your brother. The property you're selling for $1 million, start going to say, no, there's something wrong. Because they want transfer duties. You know what's those two? Then they send out 3 independent valuators to the property to see what's the value of the properties. So they say, oh no, but the property is worth 7 million. You can still buy it with $1 million, but you must pay us our transfer duties on 7 million.
Yeah, SARS.
No one else wants the money. SARS wants the money.
So you can't play games there.
Getting smart and
Yes,
smart. SARS getting smart and smart. That's why they put in, even when it comes to sometimes home loan finance, you find that the banks are asking them tax returns and stuff like that. So because SARS is putting pressure on them as well. They are getting very smart. Any more, guys? I don't think sell houses. Thank you guys. Thank you for guys.
Wow.
I wanted to find out to be a bond originator.
Yeah. You see, the bond originator is a difficult thing.
Yeah,
because most of us guys that come from the bond originator space come from the banks. So we have worked in most of your guys has worked in the banks, has done home loan processing and stuff like that. Because to teach a person home loans, there isn't books, almost like an agent. There isn't books to give you to say this is originated. You literally have to, because the guys that sit with me that I train, my admin guys, literally have to work with me for 2 years in order to do open finance. Because there's so much you have to learn. Like the straightforward, you'll pay some bank statement, that's straightforward. That you can learn in 3 months. But now you get a, for example, I'm sitting with the client that I'm sitting now. They buy in a dormant trust, right? It's a building loan. Under a dormant trust, all 4 of them are self-employed, all of them with different companies. So now you have to structure that deal to the bank. Remember, you communicating over emails and telephone with the banks. You need to submit all the documents. Now, one person being self-employed, it's 3 years financial, business bank statements, it's a lot of documents with each person being self-employed. Besides the building document, besides the trust documents. And you have to structure the deal in such a way to the bank that they understand on that side. That's why with us, I don't submit incomplete deals to the banks. Remember, they're going to get 2 deals. Straightforward, well written, income and expenses, or you're going to get everything that's mixed up. Who are you going to work with first? The straightforward deal that looks good, that you can understand and read. If it's a mess, it's going to take you longer to understand and you can decline. So you need to know how to put a deal together to the banks. There's a motivation needs to be written, and they must clearly understand your product. If they don't, they have to sort it out, it's a problem. The better you give the deal, so if you get quality in, you're going to get quality out. If you don't understand what you're doing, how are you going to explain to the bank side and that side? So it takes time. It's not something you can teach a person over the phone. It's like an agent, it takes time.
Any more questions?
So there's something that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
When you said when you have a degree or honors or diploma, it helps you with the bond. Can you please explain it?
Okay,
How does
simple terms is, let's say you are an accountant, you have a degree, you qualified, right? You have a person is certified. Left school, is 21, is working. So the accountant is qualified, they got a degree. If he loses his job today, tomorrow, is it easier for him to get a job again? Doctor, lose your job today. Any degree, you lose your job today, you get a job easier. Now you only got stand at 5, sir. You're 25 years old. You did maybe truck driving, whatever, I don't know what you did. You got no qualifications, you only got stand at 5. You understand where the problem comes in. It's difficult for you, it's easier for the person that's qualified to get a job than the person that's not. So that's why they look at you like the client side.
So meaning if someone applies for a bond, I can advise that person to also attach their qualifications.
Yeah, you got a qualification, degree and upwards. Not if it's normal diploma, it doesn't mean much.
Or degree.
PhD degrees upwards, yes.
Alright.
You know, you have to change that. Because remember that again with the bank, let's say I'm a young doctor, 30 years old, I'm just getting in the field. Remember your salary might be low, but your salary is going to go up. And the banks knows that. So what they do is, they give you a better interest rate, they help you with your cost. They say, come over and open up your bank account with us. We give you 1, 2, and 3. 50% voluntary discount, better interest rate, decrease your fees, things like that. Why? Because they know you're going to make money, they know you're going to grow, and they know they're going to make money out of you. So that's what it's about, making money out of the person. You want to about That's how it works, yeah.
In the other instance, assuming somebody doesn't have degree,
Yeah.
so he can't apply for bond.
Can't apply for?
Can he apply for bond?
No, you can. Remember, it's just about the rest, what you said. I mean, it doesn't mean if you don't have a degree, not a good client. You just, with a degree, you stand a better chance of getting a better rate. So, normal client get bonds, so it's fine. It just, again, it's about the risk factor to the bank. How you bring it down, you qualify, your salary qualify for this kind of thing. So, for example, you must have a degree now. It just betters your risk to the bank, which means a better interest rate. Doesn't mean you qualify for higher, just your risk is better. For example, a person taking personal loans and a person saving money. I got 500,000 savings investments in a bank, and I owe 500,000 to the bank. Who's a better client?
The one is savings.
Exactly. And the banks pick that up because they can got system. They can say, okay, you are a guy that's saving money. Let us take you because we can even take your investment. They'll put things together to bring you over to them because you put the risk. Now you got a lot of debts. You're gonna say, no, give us 10% deposit because you are higher risk than the person saving money. All about the risk. Yeah.
How can interest rate be managed when investing in bond?
I don't understand that. Interest, which interest rate? Talking about your bond interest rate. Look, what a bank sees, so when you get your bond financed, you're going to get interest, right? Bond registers, it carries on. After your bond is registered, after it,
Is it possible that after you must have registered your bond, or because I know you guys will try to motivate the bank to give a better interest rate at the beginning and the bond is being registered, is it possible that you as a bond holder to go to the bank to negotiate the rate again after it has been?
yeah, after it's registered, if it's approved, once your bond is approved, right? Let's say you were busy, it's not yet registered, it's by the attorneys. They're going to refer you back to us. How the banks work is, I'm a bond originator, I submitted a deal. Here comes another originator, he submits the same deal. The bank is going to come to the first originator and say, what's happening with this guy? Or if I am the originator, I submitted, then the client submit after me. They will stop the client. Remember, because my deal is in the system first. If the client submit before me, and I'm the originator, I can't go because the client is first. So you understand what's happening? So if I am in the system, I submitted the deal. The client can't go to the bank and say, Mr. Bank, I want a better rate. The bank will listen to him, but you're going to say, okay, go back to Mark. Then Mark, must motivate because I submitted the deal. I must motivate the interest rate. Until the deal is registered, then he can go himself. Because remember, he's giving me permission to work on his deal. That's why if yourself, you're a bond originator, you submit the deal to the client, I can't say, Mr. Bank, what's happening in your deal? It's your deal. I can't close it. You must close the deal. Let's say the client is not happy. So you say, no, bad work, stuff like it. I can't close it. You can't even close it. The originator must close it. Because you gave him permission to work on it. Can you see where sometimes our frustration comes in as a originator? You can't go on another one's deal and say what's happening here. No, that man himself must withdraw it, then I can go. Because sometimes what happens, let's say for a lot, this originator doesn't know what he's doing. The deal gets declined. I look at a deal, I can get a deal approved, not a problem. But this originator must write a letter to the bank. He says, Mr. Bank, if the bond gets approved, I will not claim commission. Then I can go in. And if my deal gets approved, he finds out, he can claim commission on the deal. Even though he messed up. But because he submitted the deal before me, he has right to claim. And it happened many times. We help clients. Because they went either to the bank staff or another guy, they didn't know what they were doing, and we got them to do it.
So which means after the bond has been registered on my name,
the client can go.
I can go in there
yes.
and talk to them to
yes.
please adjust the
But after a year, you can't do it immediately.
You can't do it immediately.
No. Because remember, they want to see how you pay your account. Like I advise the client. You must pay your accounts well, and then you're going to monitor it. Then you can say, okay, Mr. Michael, I can see that okay, your value has gone up of the property because you own it after a year or two. You don't have any personal loans anymore. You settled some of your debts. You got good accounts. Let's give you better. But now they say, oh, but Michael, you skipped 2 payments, 1 to 3 months already on your bond. You've taken personal loans. You say, no, we're not going to give you better. So it's all about the behavior and how you pay your accounts.
What is unbonded property?
It's when you already own the property. Remember, so the bond is financing. Unbonded means your house, it's in your name. Either paid it up already or you inherited the property. So maybe you want to buy another property, you want to refinance and do improvements. This is unbonded.
Okay, please learn. Alright, another thing. I've gotten this house and I'm almost completed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to buy another bigger house. Whereby I want to use equity on this one to finance this.
Yes.
Can you please explain?
Okay, this is a good thing. And this is how people become rich, guys. I promise you, this is where riches comes in. And this is a nice thing of buying a property early as possible. So let's say I'm 20 years old, finance a property. By the age by the time I'm 30 years old, for example, right? I basically finished my property. So remember, I finished one bond. So I paid most faster. So remember, from 20 to 30 years, your value has grown in the property, right? You can go to the bank. Now, you can say, Mr. Bank, you know what? Like you said, unbonded. I own a property, I finish it. I want to take a bond on my property. The bank's going to ask for what for? You say, no, I just want to do improvements, I just want that money, right? So let's say you bought it 10 years back, you bought it for 300,000, I was making worth $1 million, right? So you take a bond up to $1 million, right? You don't use that money, you leave that money in the house. Remember, because you paid it out, keep it there. Now, so now remember you took up a bond on your property. It's laying there. This is where people make money. Now you can go to the auction. Now you can go buy second property. So remember, you got $1 million, which you took it from your home. It's there, it's laying there. You didn't take it out, you just took that money released it. Now you go to auction. I buy a house for 500,000. That makes sense. I take your 500,000. I say, Mr. Auctioneer, here's your money. They say, okay, but this house is not nice. It's fine. I got this money here. Take your 100,000. You fix it house. So you spend 600,000. Buy the auction and get it out. You pay it nice. Then you sell it house for $1 million. Now you put the money back into your pocket. Straight off. So how much you make? 300,000 profit, isn't it? And that's how they carry on. That's how people make money. That's how they make their wealth. That's how property works. So then you pay into the bond, so you win a lotto, I pay my property off, someone comes to you, and this literally happened to me. I didn't have the money. The guy got a government tender, the property was in auctions. The property was 1.2 million. He only wanted 500,000 for the house. That's all he wanted. And I couldn't give him the money. So you have the facility available. I got it now, I make sure I got it now available. So the client says, yeah, I want money, So meaning the money is available. You buy the house for 500,000, you go 1.2, you can sell the house again for $1 million. You make your profit. That's a nice thing of having a funds available. So you're using your property now. You want to buy a flat, get equity. So that if you just took a bond and you paid it back, the money is there. But if you want to increase it, you need to approve for the money. If you want to increase more than what you purchase. But if you just pay it there, let's five, you bought a house at 500,000, you pay 500,000. So it's available immediately. Then you don't have to prove it now. Because you already proved it originally. But if you want to make it bigger, that's when you have to prove it. But at equity, you can go buy a car. A lot of people buy cars now because you buy a car maybe for 200,000. You know, car installment of 200,000 might be 6,000 or 7,000. You know, under a bond, it's only 2,000 rand. And take the money from the bond. There's a certain people do this one, which is very stupid. You're taking a short-term debt over a long term. Rather use it to buy another property or make money out of it.
So when bank gives you the money and use it giving as collateral, so you have to continue to pay.
Yeah, remember you took money from the bank. So remember you got a $1 million house, you took that $1 million out again. Remember you owe the bank $1 million, that's 10,000 a month. But now with that money, you bought maybe 3 flats in Sunnyside. Okay, we know the banks don't like room rentals, but let's say you are doing room rentals. You're making 30,000 income. From that $1 million that you took, you're making 30,000. You pay 10,000 towards your bond, 20,000 come towards you. Put it all into your bond.
So now that one is correct.
Yeah, people's eyes are opening now, eh? Money now. Like this is a sparkle. Yeah, you waiting for these days.
Now that one is collateral. What happens to this one?
It's bond free. You pay cash with it. It's yours.
So it's yours. They won't even.
They can't do nothing to it. It's yours because you use that other money. That's how they made wealth. That's how your developers came into place. That's how people are buying auction. They're using the existing property they own for so long. They paid it off, so they only have one bond, and they take that money to buy cash. So what they get from that house, remember they're buying cash, so they put it back into this one.
So
that's how you make wealth.
So even land works. Even with land it works.
Land it works, but the problem with land is it doesn't sell easy. And that's why the banks want 40% deposit on land. It doesn't sell easy.
So just you are not working, is it possible to pay the money?
Look, let's say for example, when you bought a property for 500,000, right? You were working. You paid it off completely. Now you're not working. Remember the 500,000 you qualified for data. You paid it off. You can take the money because there's no access to apply because you paid it off. But if you now want to increase that money, then you have to approve for it. Anytime you want to apply for more, you must go back to the bank. But if you're already heavy, money is paid off, you can take it off. You can go to the casino, take a chance. you lose your house. There's a bank. The banks only ask when you take, let's say, do a further advance or unbond. They only ask what you want to do with it. They're not gonna go what you want to do. You just tell them to do improvements. It's fine. I'm gonna do another house. It's fine. They don't care. It's your money because they have the asset.
And don't forget, you're gonna drop the document of the house.
Yes, you know. Yeah.
Oh, it's a collateral now.
It's not only your house. It's this house. Remember, you must financing.
It's a
And the house is
collateral.
surety.
When you fail, the house is no more yours.
Yeah.
It's a collateral.
You make money, my dear.
It's risk.
That's right. It's a risk not to take a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a risk that you are taking every single day. But you can make lots of money. So that's why it's always good to have your bond. You have this, it's called an excess bond. You put in extra money, you multiply, you know the facilities available. So when that luck comes, it don't always come, but when it comes, you know, there's money available. I can buy the guy cash, buy an auction cash. That's where your developers come in. That's where you notice when you watch his property businesses, that's where they came in. They use an existing property to buy, fix up, sell, put the money back in.
First, if you want to buy a property at an auction, and they say, okay, this is the maximum amount, like 300,000. Is there any bidding cost?
No, auction is dangerous. There's a lot of money. My dear, when you go to auction, guys, you're open. Who will you take the client in? You're open. When you go to, there's a reason why the property is not an auction. Right? So normally the auctioneers will give you time to go look at the property. You can't just go the day when an auction happens and buy. You need to do your homework. So because the cost involved in it is up to you. For example, there might be rates and taxes. The house might be sold for 200,000. You find the rates and taxes arrears, it's 500,000. You find that the water lights bill is 400,000. You find there's no electricity in the house. You find the house is vandalized. You find there's people staying in the house. When you go to the auction, you bid. Remember, you pay 10%. Eh? Once you pay the 10% there, you take your OTP. It's your responsibility. If there's people in the house, you must pay them out. Whatever is the problem, then it's you. Arrears, no matter who's there, it's you. If you, let's say you go to the property, you bought it, you go back again to the property, the visa is gone. It's your business.
In respect of auction, although I'm just making reference to that of the car, I have not done that of house. Yeah, no matter any property placed on auction, they give you some time straight to come and view
before
and see
the
the
auction
condition
happens.
before the auction
Yes.
I believe with that you will have known the condition or the situation of the house before you commit your money.
It depends again. It depends again because remember, car they normally have possession of it. Eh? House not always the case. Remember, in a house you can have difficult people staying in the house. That guy can be staying in his mother's house. And it's an emotional thing. Now you want to buy his house, his mother's house, doing the process. Now you have to tell a guy, come and go see the house. You tell him that he's a drunkard, not hungry house. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you get a house, it's empty, you're lucky. But then it's your responsibility to put someone in that house. Because once you buy it, the house is your responsibility. If there's difficult people there, it's your responsibility. But sometimes you can't see the house inside. You can even drive past the house, people will throw you with stones. You can't say, yes, I want to view the house and buy the house from auction. Just think about it. Think about it. You're going to throw a person out of his house. It's your responsibility. You think he's going to show you his house?
Now, these people with auctioneers, they normally give you the cost.
Yeah, all the costs. Yeah.
The
estimates.
The only estimation.
Yeah, it's not 100%.
They don't give the
Plus or minus.
Yeah, they give you plus or minus figures because remember, they know more or less how much you owe levies. Maybe that was 2 months ago. Now you go, actual figures is a bit higher. Look, it might not be far off, but it might be tough. You need to do your homework. That's why if you're in an auction game, you need to have your lights on reports because you need to know what your value of a property is. If a property is sold for very cheap, you need to go do your homework. You have to have your contacts, municipality people, things like that. If you need to throw out people, you need to have people to move people out. I mean, if you're new in a game, you know no one, you are going to struggle. You know, people won't just leave the houses. And you know the legal wait takes about 3 to 6 months to put someone out of the house. Take longer. So the nice thing, you can get good deals, you can get paid. It's like a lucky packet, I say. Sometimes nice, sometimes not nice. But you can make money out of it.
So what would you advise? To buy from auctioneer or to buy to the agent?
If it's your first house, I would say go to an agent. It's much safer to do it, especially if you can afford it and you know what you're buying. You can go into the property, just make sure there's a client. I always advise them, don't just go once to the property, go maybe 2 to 3 times to the property. That's what I advise. Because sometimes your first viewing is an emotional viewing. You don't look at the place, you just go wow on the rooms. The second time is now when you really start viewing the property. It's safer that way. Auctions, you can score a lot, but you can run a high risk sitting in the property.
For first-time home buyers,
Yeah.
can you tell us more about these flips?
Okay, so first-time home buyers, so let me first start with FLIS, right? So FLIS is a government initiative, right? Income 22,000 and less is for a, how can I say, the less privilege. When I say less privilege, meaning, let's say for example, you earn a salary of 10,000, you're an independent person, you have a degree. You do not qualify for FLIS because you're independent and you don't need it. In other case, you have 20,000 looking after your brother's children. You must have an independent to qualify for this. That is crucial. Right? Income must be under 22,000 and you must have independent. If you don't have independent, you will not qualify for this. Government initiative. The problem with FLIS, it does take a lot of time. The banks used to help clients, we used to help clients, we don't do it anymore because of the time frame. FLIS takes anything between 3 to 6 months to pay off, sometimes even longer. But remember, it's free money. The government is giving you that money.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah, it can even be longer, sir, depending on who you use it. I advise the clients go directly to Centum. FLIS offices are there, and it's much quicker. You're going to work through contacts and people, we find that it can be done. So remember, it's free money that the government is giving you. The closer you are to the 22,000, the less you get. The lower you get, the more you get. So for example, you earn salary of 3,500. You get up to, it's 120,000 from FLIS. 20,000. No, it's a bit more. I'll send you those. I think 120, but now it's a bit more. You close, they say you got 20,000, 22, and I think it's about 35,000. Okay, just confirm the figures. So remember, FLIS, it's a government. It's bound to get it right. The sellers are always going to get. You can apply for FLIS even if you get 100% down, even if you fees, you still apply. First-time home buyers with the bank, then there's a first-time home buyer product as well. The clients can apply for 105%. The 105%, the extra 5% is towards fees. Please note, guys, to qualify for that extra, remember they're giving you more than a purchase price, which means you as a client must walk on water, meaning your accounts must be marked on. If you have a history of arrears and stuff, they're not going to give you that extra 5%. And because you're giving you extra money, remember, because the interest rate will be a bit higher than a client taking 100%. Because remember, the bank has to, because there's a house, they must make it money back. Remember, when you buy an auction, you're not going to buy it full price, you're going to buy it for less. So that's why they give you a higher interest rate for that as well. So you're going to get a 5% and get a 50% discount on the bond attorney fees only. Not transfer fees, bond attorney fees only. You get a discount as well. So there's quite a lot of benefits nowadays for personal life. So remember, it's 105% plus the 50% bond attorney discount. Plus, government initiative, can get it money, takes long time to get it.
So if they have an inheritance, if a client has an inheritance, then they still benefit from the fees.
Plus, look at you as a person. Again, do you have a dependence? How much you earn? Look at all of those things. So having inheritance is cool. Let's say you buy a house for 300,000. That inheritance will pay 50% of the property. You as a client, what do you qualify? Let's say you're a house helper. You're earning a salary of 3.5. Got 2 children. You got your grandkids as well. You are legal that product. You can qualify for that product. Now, inheritance, like you think a salary of 20,000. Don't have dependence. Then you don't need a system. You see the difference in that. That's what FLIS means.
So the based on Mem's question, based on Mem's question, if you have inheritance, on that inheritance they give you a property.
Yeah.
So do you still qualify for flips or?
Plus, again, it's about you as a person. It's not about your inheritance.
Oh, okay.
It's about do we have a dependence? It's not about what your inheritance is.
Oh, right.
So inheritance has nothing to do with the
And then they are afraid of
maybe they are very
Inheritance has nothing to do with this. It's about who you as a person.
So if you don't have dependents, you just...
Yeah, then you don't need plus.
No, I need it.
Why do you need it? No, it's not for you.
No. So if...
You will not qualify.
So if my sister has kids, I can like...
So you can license.
I can't answer that. The man is recording you. You can't, man.
Maybe we should go offline.
Yeah, you must either extend an offer to purchase. Let's say you buy it cash, for example. Let's say you have an inheritance. The property is 300,000. You have 150,000 inheritance, then you can apply for plus for the other parts. If you're buying under bond finance, you must have bond approval. Very important, guys. If you want to apply for a bond finance for plus, you must be a bond approval. If you're buying cash, then it's another story.
Also, even when you buy cash, they can still fund you.
Yes, depending on you as a person. Remember, plus is about you as a person.
So flip, does it work on both private sector and public sector, or it's based on everyone? Or it's for everyone?
Everyone, South African citizens. As long as you fit the criteria.
So even when you are working abroad, you
know
it's able to apply.
How much you want for us? Your money is immortal. How can you be earning less than 22,000? Working abroad,
you are a South African citizen, but you are
no,
working.
but again, your income, sir. Remember, there's criteria, and this is going to be your problem. The criteria you have to do. Don't look at the rules of it. Look at the income criteria as well.
Oh.
22,000 is maximum.
Oh.
Exactly.
And from which amount?
From 3.5 to 22,000 maximum.
So you must firstly be approved for a bond.
If applying for finance, yes. Yes. Then, as soon as we got the first approval in principle, then you can apply for principle. If you're buying cash, the attorney will inform first, and then you apply for first. But you must meet the criteria.
Does it formula?
No.
Even if I ask South African ID.
How you mean technical? But they look at you as a client. Look, if you have an ID, you can apply, but are you less fortunate? They don't look at that as well.
How about you know, such truly less fortunate? And the person has a South African ID.
Then you can probably apply for it. You can probably apply for it. Because you normally say you must be a citizen. That is the normally the criteria. Okay, chance? I never had a foreigner.
Have you added for it and are you help to the flips?
They can try. I'm not sure if they're going to get it though.
No, have you gotten a client?
No, me, never.
Okay.
Never.
Okay, so I see when you buy a car on a finance, there's something that is called balloon payment. So I want to understand, do we have balloon payment on what is?
What you owe the bank is what you owe. The bank don't know the things like so. If your outstanding balance today is 500,000, and you say, Mr. Bank, I want to settle my bond today, it's 500,000 plus the installment today. That's it. They don't split it as a different thing.
Oh.
Banks don't know. You know balloon payments.
I really don't know how to work. So I wanted to ask.
Balloon payments, for example, you buy a car for 500,000, it's a purchase price. Then I'll tell you there's a balloon payment of 200,000. Right? Boom, one side. So you're only paying your installment on the 300,000 for the 5 years. So which means, so the 300,000 you probably pay 6,000 rand, and the 500,000 you're going to pay 9,000 rand. Right? So you're paying only on the 3,000 rand. When your term is all finished, the car is all finished after 5 years, you're going to say, okay, now you have to pay the 200,000.
Or you must refinance.
Or you must refinance, yeah.
No, I didn't get that.
Okay, so balloon payment. Okay, so balloon payment is so they take a certain chunk. So then 200,000, they put it aside. And they say this is your balloon. So buying 500,000, but saying here's 200,000, you don't pay it now. For the next 5 years, you only pay the 300,000. So 5 years, you pay the 300,000 over. You think it's your car. You say, okay, no, so Michael, you pay 300,000, very nice. What are you going to do with the next 200,000? Either refinance or you must pay cash.
Then you're paying off the car over 10 years.
The value doesn't no longer anymore.
And on that 2 years, do they increase rates or?
I'm not 100% sure.
Oh.
I'm not 100%. But that works for people that are financing the car every 2 years. The loan payment works for them. If you're a person who buys this vehicle to keep it, then there's a
When it's our time to buy this,
So basically, let's say you have a car, you want to buy property, buy a car worth 500,000, and you have 200,000 cash. Then you just give them the cash, and then they work out with you 200,000.
Yeah.
For you, right?
Right, yeah.
You do that.
What is that?
I mean, like you wanted to buy maybe a car,
Yeah.
so that worth 500,000.
Yeah, you put 200,000 deposit.
4,000.
So you pay on the 300,000.
Pardon?
I'm saying it's a different story.
Yeah, you only pay on the 300,000.
Unless you want to put another balloon payment on that 300,000.
Yeah.
Then,
But then it
because
doesn't
now
make sense.
yeah, if you want to pay, let's say 1,000.
Yeah. Then it doesn't make sense to pay for a balloon payment. You lose.
Doesn't make sense.
But yeah, it's a balloon payment. People don't read it.
The contract, you don't sign.
Exactly.
Wow, guys, I'm sure you are well filled today.
It's a lot of information. You guys, you can just went on the welcome.
So please feel free to reach out to him. Feel free to reach out to him if there's anything you want to ask. And then please, I'm sure he's more than welcome. He's going to answer you.
Yeah.
That was me now. So let's come together with him. This year, I've already dedicated this to you because we must do million things. And it's going to get approval for our clients. The good ones. See, we approval with everything.
We are very important.
Very important. See, when I said wasting of time, and all these things, people just waste your time. There's a lady who moved from Saravika to overseas. She wanted to buy property from me, and patients.
Yeah, oh,
sure. And she was disturbing me. Michael, you don't want to help me. Then I just said everything to him. Honestly, there's a judgment, there's a lot of things, and you see, just wasting my time. So all these things is save time when you do the right thing from the beginning. You know where you are going. You don't even need to even drag the offer to purchase when you do the right thing. So you make your life so that you know you go to the next client and get the okay. Yes.
Just to ask the question, do you have a periodic training for?
It's up to you guys. So we're not up to the agency. So normally I do like monthly or every second month. So we target only different products. So like today we targeted companies and self-employed. So next time we can target maybe something else. That's what we normally do. So it's up to you guys, monthly or every second month. We do that. Touch on different things like valuation, things like that. I can even sometimes bring the bank guys in as well. You can also touch on it as well.
Alright, that's good. Thank you. So don't worry. I expect our invitation very soon as well. Expect our invitation very soon, and then we'll see what to do. On behalf of the team, I want to thank you for coming. You didn't charge me anything. Because of the business relationship. Let me tell you something. This training like this costs also. My kid did not come for free. So you want to know that it costs as well. When you know people like him. I didn't even know the owner of the business. So until today now I see everything about it. I say, okay, wow, I love to work with people like him. Thank you so much. Thank
you guys. Appreciate it. I got a gift.
We also appreciate you too.
Alright, please, let's go out there, let's take a picture with him.